Good evening. Welcome to the Danvers Zoning Board of Appeals. If you'd like, we only have one case tonight, but if you'd like a copy of the agenda, it's up here on the front table. And I'm going to ask everyone to silence their cell phones so they're not ringing during the meeting. And I'm going to ask for, did everybody get minutes? If we have a motion to,
So moved, Madam Chairman.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. And I'm going to introduce the members of the board all the way down to my right, Bob Signetti, John Bonner, our clerk, Ken Scholes, and Becky Kilborn. We have Jeff Sauer, Ken Jarvinen, and Corinne Doherty. And from the Code Administration Department, we have our building inspector back with us tonight, Rich Maloney, and Kathy Archambault, our secretary. The procedure for tonight's meeting is we'll ask the applicant to come up and present their information to the board, and then we'll go to the board. After you're done with your presentation, we'll go to the board for questions, and all of the board members can ask questions. After the board asks questions, we'll go to the audience for any comments or questions from the audience. We have one person in the audience, and then we'll go back to the board for deliberation, and based on the comments from the board, I'll tell you what your options are in terms of moving forward. So, anything else? Other than that, okay, let's read the case.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our first and only case of the evening, Staples, Daniel Candy Sill, Liberty LLC, docket number 19-4833, requesting a variance to add a third wall sign in accordance with section 37.5.6.1 of the Danvers zoning bylaws at 250 Independence Way.
So I hear you have several people here, so why don't you just introduce everyone who's here so we know?
I'm John Piastelli from Bergmeyer Associates, the architect for Staples.
Okay,
Brooks Stewart, Staples Architecture and Engineering. Andrew Thorpe, Staples, Head of Engineering, Construction Design, Facility Management.
okay.
Troy Funk, Kiefer Starlight.
That's the sign company?
Sign company.
Okay, so 3 people from Staples and 2, and you're the architect? Okay, and the sign company. All right, thank you very much.
So we're going to chat with you about the renovations that we're doing over at the Liberty Tree Mall for the Staples. Basically, we're taking off the existing Staples brand, which you see, and adding Staples Connects signs to the 2 front facades, one that faces the parking lot, one that faces the highway. Specific is the Staples Studio sign, which is sort of the third sign that we're adding, is a red backed metal. The white metal letter that pin mounted to the red. That sign is a non-illuminated sign. It's about 15 square feet in total. The side of the building has a 5-foot by 5.5 foot by 15-foot sign. The front is a 9-foot by 26-foot sign, 25-foot sign. The overall area of the 3 signs is slightly less than the current area of the 2 signs that are on the building today.
Okay, so maybe just to go a little bit slower, why don't we do the sign that faces the parking lot first?
Sure.
What is the size of that sign, and then what, the existing sign and the new sign? And we'll do them one by one, so, okay, thank you.
The,
And what did they say, and what are they going to say? We're not so concerned with lettering, but,
currently the sign says Staples Office Superstore.
okay,
So it faces
the parking lot, the front,
parking
yeah,
lot. The sign that's on the side of the building, it just says Staples.
yes.
And then there's a monument sign that also just has the Staples brand logo on it. The current sign, the main entry, the front sign is 232 square feet.
Is that on here, this, that we,
It's this page of the document.
okay, so we got 232, okay.
125 square feet to the side sign that just says Staples,
Existing,
existing. And the existing monument sign is 18 square feet.
And where is the monument sign?
Freestanding wall, so.
Yes, the freestanding wall sign
This one.
is on the, I guess the west side.
And you have that already?
It is, yes, the Staples has a small,
And you're re-lettering it?
yes,
So you're not changing the size?
changing the size.
Then we don't need to talk about that. We only, if you are re-lettering an existing sign that's the exact same size, then
We're good with
we're
that.
good with that.
It's a building permit.
Yeah, we already have it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's that one right there.
So we have two signs,
That's correct, yes.
and then you have a new sign that you want, right?
That's correct, yes. We have it.
Okay.
So on the new signs, we have,
Where the hell
on the
did
front,
they
we have the
go
Staples
over?
Connect logo. That's 226 square feet.
Okay,
On the side of the building, also the same Staples Connect logo, which is 84 square feet.
got it.
This white pin-mounted Staples Studio sign, not illuminated, is 15 square feet.
Okay, so that's the, you have one new sign and then two, okay.
That's correct. And the total square footage on that is 343 square feet, including the monument sign. So the monument sign, plus these two signs here,
Okay,
plus the Staples Studio sign is 343 square feet.
okay. So the sign facing the parking lot, I'm just gonna do it as we go along, is now 232 square feet, and it will change to 226 square feet?
That's correct.
Okay. The sign facing the street is now
125
on
square
125, and the new one will be
84.
84. And then you're adding one that's 15.
feet. We're adding one that's 15, that's the difference, yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Anything else you want to tell us? Okay. Bob?
What does that mean, Staples Connect? How is that different than Staples? You go to the mic, go to the microphone, please. We're on TV.
I'm not dressed for TV. So,
Neither are we.
thank you for hearing us tonight. So Staples is working on trying to reinvent itself. Obviously, Staples has been a highly successful company for years, selling all the different varieties of office supplies and product. Our customer base is changing, their needs are changing. So one of the big things that about 3 years ago we did in our Danvers stores, we actually brought in co-working. And we actually have a co-working suite in the back of that store. As we are generating and developing our new brand, we're really realizing that connecting to the community is much, much more important today than it ever has been as a retailer. And so, as part of the studio, which is what it's called now, the co-working, we actually have a building permit now to add in a collaborative meeting space and everything, which is really a way for us to connect with the community, allow the community organizations to come in, have meetings throughout the evenings and stuff, training classes for our small business customers and stuff. So Staples is making a pivot from Staples, the Office Superstore, to Staples Connect, trying to show that we are connecting to the community and being more than just a retailer in the community. And that's what Staples Connect is, the new brand. It's actually being launched in 6 stores here in Massachusetts as the first launch of the new brand. We're excited to bring it to Danvers. We were excited when we brought co-working 3 years ago. We're excited to have this be one of our newest 6 newest branded stores for the chain, which hopefully, as it succeeds, it's going to expand through the country. Next question?
Okay, now also, this studio, you already have the studio,
We already
right?
have the studio, correct?
Yeah, so how did people know there was a studio there before?
So right now, there is 2 illuminated window signs down low behind the windows. They're relatively large inside the windows. We're looking to get something that's more visible from the parking lot as you drive up the road. It is a standard brand that we're putting in all of the stores. We're trying to create that vertical element along the corner of the structure to kind of represent studio to the customers as they drive by.
Well, why can't you just put studio on the Connect or someplace on those signs?
Well,
Why do you
obvious-
need a separate sign, is what I'm getting at?
Well, obviously, Staples Connect is our main brand, and we're trying to make sure our customers know where we are now. In this location, we are kind of hidden. We're at the far end, our main entrance is around the back corner, so we do feel that the sign, on the, no, this side, on the side, still is very important, and we don't want to clutter these two signs with adding another line in or something like that. So that's why we felt having a clean, crisp line with an extra sign on the corner is more appealing than actually trying to marry it into the main sign fields for the store.
All right, also, underneath, see, you got that big orange thing, why do you need that?
The big orange thing, which is down in the windows,
Down below.
so basically.
On the
yeah.
corner.
On the corner.
So basically, it was to kind of create that pillar of appearance on the corner of the building. The red is up top here, and the red is just continuing down the entire corner of the building as a design element.
Yeah, well, other stores are gonna have this corner,
Yes,
so all your stores are on the corner?
not all our stores.
So then what do you do with the stores that aren't on the corner?
This would wind up being a flat implementation on the end of the building. So if we were in a strip center, this would be just on the face of the building, not any sort of wrap around the corner.
Then you don't wanna do that here. All right,
We
well,
don't think it's necessary here.
yeah, well, technically, you're asking for two signs because you're on two walls, right?
We're asking for 3 signs on.
Wait a minute, that studio sign is on two walls.
No, just one wall facing out to the street.
Well, I see orange on the other wall there too. That's part of your sign,
No, the lettering,
No?
only around the
It's only got
lettering.
the lettering.
just,
It's just paint.
so that's not part of the sign?
I would draw a box around the letter.
Oh, all right, all right.
I thought it was too, Bob.
Yeah, there's
Looked
no
like it
pin
wraps
letters or
around.
anything on the other side.
Yeah, it looks like a wraparound sign, that's why,
Yeah.
so you really don't need that orange on that side.
Usually just put a box around the
As I
letter.
said, it's an architectural detail that was submitted in the regular
Like it would
plans
just
to
be
the building department, and we have a permit for that at this point, I believe, all right, yeah.
What, to have the orange?
The red vertical bands on the 2 corners, it's a paint detail that was approved as part of.
Oh, okay, all right. And because it's on the corner, this accomplishes, I'm trying to figure out how this accomplishes something that it won't accomplish on the side. You got two signs, one on each side.
Yep,
Customers are coming in both of those sides. They can see those two signs.
correct, the Staples Connect sign.
Yeah. And the studio sign actually is only seen from one side then.
That's very true. We didn't want to be greedy and ask for 2 signs. And again, the majority of that traffic is coming through that ring road, either heading to Home Depot or around the back of the plaza. So by the time you get to the back, obviously, the main sign is at our main entrance. This sign and this corner are probably the most visible elements as most customers enter that plaza.
But wait, but your main entrance is on the
end.
Home Depot side.
Yes, it's on the end.
So why don't you put the studio sign facing that way if that's your main entrance?
Because we feel that this is more visible to customers coming in and out, either to Target or to Best Buy, or passing this corner heading to the Home Depot. If it was on the back side, it basically would only be visible to people coming either to Staples or passing Staples to go to the Home Depot.
All right, so I'm going to Target and I see studio, beautiful. And that tells me nothing,
Okay?
okay? Unless I already know there's a studio there, then I don't need the sign.
Well, hopefully our marketing plans that will be going out public will make people understand what studio is. And as we grow this to something that is going across the country in hundreds of locations, Staples will become known for having studios within the space.
Well, I'm not a big sign guy, and I think you could do this a different way, but I'll listen to the other people.
Thank you.
So this material is gonna be used for this
corner studio sign or no?
That's correct, yeah, that's the backing to the lettering for that. red.
Okay, so this is wrapped on both sides and then the lettering's on one side only?
That's correct, yes. The
Okay.
red is the metal that makes the back of the sign.
Okay.
It gets on.
And then, Madam Chair, if I could ask the building inspector, so Rich, these calculations are based on how we calculate square footage?
Right,
For,
like the big signs, the existing Staples signs are on a red backing, but we don't count the backing, we just draw a rectangle around the sign element, the letters.
right, so in this case,
On the
and
corner sign, all we're gonna do is draw a rectangle around the letter.
the 7 foot 1 inch and the 2 foot 1 inch?
Yeah.
Okay, and just to be clear, so they're really not here on Staples Connect on both sides, because they're not here for that approval?
They have a variance for, we did a little different back when they built the store.
Okay.
Anyway, they got a variance for a second sign
Okay,
with the total square footage. So
okay.
they took the total square footage and kept it the same, no increase, correct?
Well, they've reduced it, I think, right?
Reduced it,
Yeah.
but
They're
they
both-
wanted the
yeah.
third sign with the reduced square footage.
Okay, so they're going reduced square footage.
The first one is 232 down to 226.
Yep, yeah, I've got
And the
that here.
second one is 125
Down to 84.
And then
So
they're
the eight,
adding 15.
and the monument sign is gonna change, but it's the same square footage.
Yeah, it's changing
So
color,
it's just
same
in
size, no.
that-
So the only thing that's new here is this corner studio sign.
Correct, I've given them a permit for the two wall signs, as long as they're the same size or smaller.
Okay.
Original variance.
Okay,
And the pylon sign is, that sign is protected because that structure went up before we had sign bylaws, that went up as a structure, and that was before you guys a few years ago where they rebuilt the freestanding wall signs.
yes.
So they're allowed, we don't control the message on that. There was a number of square footage on that sign, and the mall, or whoever owns that sign divvies it up to whoever wants to pay for it.
Right, okay.
That's how we got to where we're at.
Okay, and the red section of this new sign, I understand the size of the lettering's 15 square foot, and that red will come all the way down to the sidewalk?
Yeah, just about, there's a,
Or a facade there?
CMU at the bottom, it's divided into
Okay.
8 squares.
So that's like a brick facade or something,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's,
a masonry base of 3.5 feet,
Okay.
it's painted a gray color.
okay, I have no further questions.
I don't really have any questions. I was just actually curious why you didn't have studio on that other corner. I mean, you wrapped the thing around, why wouldn't you have studio on the other side? But I don't have any questions, thank you.
I have no questions, Madam Chairman, thank you.
Ken?
The illuminated letters, is it gonna be the same lumens, or is it gonna be brighter, or you have illuminated letters?
Yeah, the Staples Connect signs are illuminated, yes.
So you're going brighter, or are you gonna keep it the same or less?
It'd probably be around the same. The good
Can
thing
you
is
come-
with
can
the
you
new
come to the
letters,
mic?
it would be LED
If you come
illuminated.
up, we're on TV, so, yeah.
I'm sorry. It'd be close to the same illumination. The good part is the new letters will be LED illuminated. So
Yep.
it would definitely take less energy and so forth like that, have a little bit cleaner look. I believe the existing letters are neon illuminated, so.
Do you know the difference in lumens, or offhand,
Do not
or,
have that in front, no.
okay, but you said it's
Especially
copper,
because we didn't make the existing signs.
okay,
Those signs are probably 20-some years old.
all right, I have no other questions.
I just have one question. Is there not an entrance on the front facing of the Staples store? So in other words, on the side where the main entrance is that the only entrance into the store?
That's correct, that's the only entrance. The door that is on the side is an emergency exit only.
So the people who are going to the studio have to go into that main entrance too? They don't have like a separate entrance into the building?
That's correct.
Okay. That was my only question.
All right, is that it? Okay. So my questions, you're going from red, the red Staples sign, these new signs are gonna be like brown colored or gray colored?
It's
Yeah, there's a thing on there.
it's a dark gray, so the field here is a dark gray, there'll be a white letter on the dark.
So you're giving up the red that everybody knows as Staples?
That's correct.
Wow, okay. And on the Target side, on the street side, you have signs in those windows that say Staples entrance around the corner, and are all those signs gonna stay that are in the windows? Are they okay, Rich, or?
I haven't been out there, so.
Okay.
Those are sort of directing people.
They're
around.
big, I mean, they're
Yeah, they-
big window signs,
That's
huge.
You're allowed to cover 20% of the inside of the glass without,
They're bigger than that.
They're way bigger than that.
Yeah. I would agree with something.
I mean, I'll be out there, I get the permit for the, take a look at it when I'm out there.
So you would be willing to give up those?
I think so. If we got to, if you want to give that up, if necessary.
You want to talk about it, or you?
We'd be willing to look at modifying the signs on the side. Obviously, we still prefer to have something that tells our customers, especially as they are going to Target, that our entrance is around the
Okay.
corner, so they're not confused.
Right.
But if the inspector is out there, if those are too big, they've been there probably for 15 years now already, but if they're too big, we certainly will be open to reducing those down to what would
What's-
fit within that potential 20%.
20% of the glass.
20%
Yeah, you got a lot of glass area, so you should have pretty good amount of
It should be
sun.
decent
Yeah,
size.
Yeah, we'd be
Okay.
willing to work with you guys to figure out what that right size is, but we'd still like to have some sort of sign to direct our customers to go around the corner to the main entrance.
Okay. All right. So this doesn't really have to do with, this more has to do with understanding what's happening is when it was Work Bar, you leased the space out to another company, is that correct? And now this new studio is going to be, you might as well stay up here,
So Work
is
Bar-
going to be part of Staples versus what Work Bar was?
Yeah, so Work Bar was a partnership. We went in with Work Bar about 3.5 years ago to open co-working facilities within Staples.
Right.
It was a partnership that had an 18-month test window to see if it was successful. We actually maintained that relationship for about 3 years. At that point, Work Bar's expansion plans and Staples' expansion plans weren't aligned anymore, and so Staples made the decision, and about 6 months ago, we actually eliminated the Work Bar brand from the store and actually converted it over to Staples Studio. And so the 3 Work Bar locations that were in Staples have all been converted to Studio, and we're gonna be opening 4 more additional Studio locations with our brand transformation stores as part of this rebranding launch,
So it's called Studio versus Work Bar?
Yes, it's called
And-
Staples
and-
Studio versus Work Bar.
Okay, okay. I mean, the Rotary Club and other service organizations, other people meet there. So
They could,
we
yes.
know, well, I know,
Yeah, okay.
we come there for
Thank you
meetings,
very
so. So,
And you'll be able to have actually a better space when the remodel's done that we have our building permit for. We actually are putting in a large meeting space called Spotlight into the store, which actually takes meeting and community events to a much larger scale that allows the community to use it, so.
and would this compete with like WeWork?
It does.
It's a similar
Obviously,
concept?
Similar
Yeah.
concept.
Okay.
WeWork, millions and millions and millions of
WeWork
square
is
feet, yeah.
huge,
Yes.
yeah.
But it is a similar concept, but we're trying to be something a little bit different. We're trying to be a little bit more of a comfortable space, a little bit more of a community-driven space versus just, here's your seat, pay us some money. We're really trying to build the community aspect of this as well as we provide space for our customers to work.
Okay. And so just as an understanding, Staples Connect is just,
Is the new way that Staples is gonna go to market.
Okay.
It's a new, it's really, we're moving away from the office superstore because we are so much more than simply the office superstore. We provide services, we're providing workspace, we're providing technology, we're providing copy and print services and stuff. So we're trying to break the image of, that's where you go to get pen, paper, pencils, a copier, or a shredder. We're much more than that. And so this is, the new brand launch is going to open up 6 of these stores in the grand launch in February, which is going to herald in this new brand of what Staples Connect will be going forward.
okay. So Studio is the workspace within Staples Connect.
Correct.
I find it confusing, I'm going to tell you that.
And I will say you won't be the first person.
It's-
Our marketing teams have hired
I don't know who they hired, but
People of the world to tell us this works.
we all know Staples' red logo, so
Yes.
that's, to take that away, I think is,
Well, we're trying to indicate something
Yeah.
is substantially different within our business, something's new, something's different. And that is one reason why all of the stores, we are trying to maintain this red pillar at the corner as a, kind of a look back to the red branding of Staples in the past.
okay, okay. Thank you. All right,
I
any
have
other
a-
questions
some
from the?
additional.
Yeah, let's go back to the.
Studio, who uses studio? You keep using the word community-based.
Yep.
I'm in the community.
Yep.
What-
So
Who uses studio?
we have people that range from startup entrepreneurs that are starting their own business that just want a single office or just a desk to sit down. They want a small business that has two people that wants to be in a more professional environment than meeting people at Starbucks or Panera to have meetings. We actually have Fortune 500 companies that have remote employees that will work they'll get 5
Businesses,
seats.
businesses.
Businesses.
All right, you
businesses,
keep using the
entrepreneurs.
word community, and to me, community is people.
Mhm.
So the average Joe isn't gonna use your studio. It's somebody who's gonna own a business or
Right.
get involved or something like that.
Somebody who needs a conference room for the day, things like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why using this word community gets me a little, I didn't understand that. Why didn't you use the word businesses?
Well, because we're looking at it as a community. All the businesses in there are able to.
Business
be all-
community.
You could say business community. As I said, as we open Spotlight, which is what we're in for the permit right now, that is where the Cub Scouts can come in. That's where different people can come in and give lectures on home mortgages, business law, all different things that the community can come in
Are
and
you
actually
gonna do
have
that?
classes for and everything.
All
So
right.
it's really trying to open up the whole store to be more of a tool for the community to use than just a place to buy your office supplies.
Now, do you still do post office stuff there?
We do not. The US Post Office decided their unions didn't like us moving in on them, and so that business has been, we still sell stamps, we still do UPS drop-off, FedEx drop-offs and stuff, but the post office element, the US Post Office element that we had in our stores, which was very successful, the government has pulled out of.
And then the other thing I used your store for was that airport, to get through the airport.
TSA
You still
pre-check.
do that?
Yes. Yep, and we're actually expanding.
Should have a sign for that.
Inside the store we do.
Yeah,
Inside
but
the store and-
how do I know to go to your store?
Well, the way the TSA system is set up is you log on to tsa.org, you
Yeah.
enter your zip code, and it provides you a list of areas that you can actually sign up for an appointment. So very rarely are people driving around looking for a TSA pre-check station. They usually are setting up an appointment before they go.
Yeah,
And that address and everything is on the TSA pre-check website, and it tells you where you can go and set up your appointment, so.
yeah, that happened to me. I walked in the store and the guy said, "You don't have an appointment, see you later." So we had to make an appointment. We went though, we went, had an appointment, but,
I would say it actually has been very successful to a point where we actually do not have, on a regular basis, openings, because we were booked solid through the website.
yeah. All right, I don't have any other questions.
So my follow-up question is, kind of based on what Bob was talking about with community. So if you talked about the Boy Scouts coming in or something, is that, I'm guessing people have to pay a fee to use studio? There's no
as I
fee
said,
involved?
If it's a lecture that someone is giving that they're looking to produce revenue, that's one thing. But if it's the Cub Scouts coming in, it's different local organizations. At least as we open, and for the minimum of the first 6 to 12 months, it's going to be free for different community events.
And how about after that?
That is to be determined. Find out what the desired use for it is.
And somebody would do this through going online, or they call your store? How would they book the time and space?
They would talk to the Spotlight event manager, who is going to be in the store, and they can go in.
Studio event manager or Spotlight?
No, actually, this store will have a Spotlight manager that's managing the Spotlight activities.
What's Spotlight?
What Spotlight?
Spotlight's it's that.
The big room.
That room that we're
Oh.
creating that is gonna be able to house, so 35, so, yeah, so this is basically today, the studio that's in the store today. What we're in, and have the building permit approval today, is to build this area, which is the large spotlight room, which is gonna allow for the community use there. Actually, we're lighting a large podcast studio to all these stores, so people that wanna do podcasting are able to come in and use a high-end podcast studio. And then that TSA Pre that you talked about, is their office is gonna be right there.
But all these different studios, you have a certain fee to pay to use them.
Correct. So if you're coming in to use studio, it's a monthly membership fee. You can get a desk, you can get an office, you can get a 4-person office.
I see.
Podcast will be an hourly fee. So if you want to come in, you want to spend 2 hours in the podcast studio doing your podcast, there'll be a X percentage there. Obviously TSA Pre, that's your fee that you pay the government to get your TSA pre-check. And as I said, Spotlight, unless it is a revenue generating event, it will not be charged for at least the first 12 months.
Okay. I want to go back to something that Ken, I think, highlighted, and it's something that this board has seen before, which is around luminance. And I think with lighting changing the way it has been rapidly, I think you mentioned how, it's fluorescent currently, probably pretty old, going 20 years anyway, right? I don't believe, and this might be more for Rich, that we have a town bylaw that details luminance, but or lumens, I want to make sure I'm saying it right.
I think it's lumens.
However, but I would imagine there's some spec associated with this lighting, and I guess I would like to know it.
There's no residential there.
I understand that, but I think we're on a slippery slope here as lighting changes. I know myself, when I see cars driving down the road that have the really bright LEDs that blind me, I'm wondering where, the lighting's going. So I guess I'm just curious. There must be some number, that'll light it up at a certain lumens.
Yeah, we can, for the new signs, we can definitely give you the lumens.
But you don't know them currently.
No, we don't have that, because these are brand-new signs, and we haven't fabricated any of them yet. But I'm sure I can get those probably to you tomorrow.
Okay, well, not being a sign guy, I guess I just want to understand, is there a range of lumens for signs? If somebody says, hey, I want this thing to be super bright, I want it to be able to be seen from Endicott Street,
Oh, yeah.
what's the max and what's the min?
Well,
in your
depends
experience?
on the number of LEDs you want to put in each individual light.
But that's not something we can regulate, correct? I mean, if Staples comes to you and says, hey, I want the max LEDs here because I want this thing to pop, you can do it, right? And that's nothing we can limit, I believe. I'm just
No.
trying to understand that.
No.
Now, if you do look, obviously Target, which is one under their major renovation, they actually just put a brand new sign out there, which is an LED, because you can tell how it's illuminated and everything. I can tell you that we're not looking to have any illumination brighter than what that Target sign is.
Okay, so you guys will be similar in lighting.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's actually a point where if you punch too much light out of the sign, it actually starts to blur from the vision, because the letters become so bright.
Like when I'm driving my car.
Exactly.
Okay, all right, I got you.
But we want our letters to be readable and crisp. We don't want them to be overpowering, so they kind of blend together and become almost just this massive orb of light.
Sure, all right, so just so I understand, more LED lightings equals more lumens.
Yes.
And you guys have some formula that's gonna get you to about the same brightness as Target.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I have one more question. There are trailers in the parking lot. Are those yours?
Off to the right-hand side, that is.
There are 3 trailers and there's a huge dumpster.
Yes, that is part
Are
of
they-
the current construction project that is undergoing.
Approved?
To get a building permit, I gave it to him.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right.
It should be probably a 3-week, maybe a 4-week total project, and as soon as it's done, those will all be removed.
Okay,
I have one other question.
okay.
This studio's only gonna go in selected Staples or in all Staples?
Currently, right now, it's in 3, it's gonna go to 4 more. and-
What I'm getting at is, we've got another Staples in town. Is it
Yes.
going over there?
Do not know. Obviously, we're opening 7 of them, and if those 7 are successful, we have a chain of 1,100 stores. The determination then will need to be made on what stores get it, when they get it. I would say if one store in Danvers already has it, it may not be the right thing for us to jump to put it in the other Danvers store right away. There's probably a lot of other communities that could use this before Danvers gets a second one. We would love to have this so populated that it would force us to open in the other Danvers store.
Another sign.
Another sign. On the corner, facing the highway.
Yeah, that's right, that is a corner store too.
All right, are we good now?
I'm
Any
fine.
more?
I don't have any other questions.
One more question. Do we have a time of operation of this sign? Is it on all night? Is it on during working hours, or
The studio sign we're asking for today is a non.
is non-illuminated, but the ones that are being renovated?
Ones that are being renovated are turn off at closing. They're on a photocell, so at night they'll turn on.
When it gets dark.
Depending on the level of light, and then turn off at closing.
Okay.
Any questions or comments from the audience? Hello?
Mr. Duggan?
Mr. Duggan?
He's watching the pregame show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, football soon. All right, back to the board.
You know, to be honest with you, I was skeptical about another sign going in there, but I guess I'd vote for this.
Yeah, I mean, they're reducing their overall square footage, they're adding
Yeah.
a third sign. I don't know if they need it. I, like you, Becky, I'm a little leery that you're going away from your patented blazing red here, or whatever the official color is, but you guys, that's your call, and I would vote for it.
I would vote for this.
I will vote for this.
I would vote for this too.
And I will vote for this.
And I would vote for
What
this.
did you do with yours?
I mean,
Did he
I
give you a paper?
personally, I
Here's
think,
my sheet.
You're gonna miss the red.
well, it seems very
What's the hardship?
muted compared to what you had, but that's my personal
All right,
opinion.
you're
It
right.
does- So if you wait, we're gonna make a motion and,
Yeah. Madam Chair, I move that the board grant to alter the original variance to add an additional third sign of 15 square feet. The hardship is is there a hardship, I guess?
Whatever the other variant.
so we
Yeah.
gotta do this. The first sign is gonna go from this size to this size.
Oh,
The
do I need to
second sign-
detail all the
Yeah.
size?
Yeah, they're all different.
No, we don't have to do the other signs.
Or according to the
You're
plan.
not giving them
For the
15 feet for
packet.
nothing, are you?
Okay. As detailed in drawing dated 8/12/19, that details the change in square footage to each sign. This condition does not affect other properties or structures in the same zoning district. The literal enforcement of the zoning bylaws would involve a substantial hardship to the applicant, and granting this variance will not create a substantial detriment to the public good and will not nullify or substantially derogate from the intent or purpose of the zoning bylaws.
Second,
And can we add in that the trailers will be removed after the construction?
You guys are gonna take that as a condition, that the trailers will be removed within 30 days? Should
No.
not be. Okay.
Okay, because they have a permit for those, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
It's not like they're a violation.
What about the window signs?
We'll take care of that.
Okay, all
The
right.
boss man's gonna be watching you, that's what I'm gonna say. The boss
Do
man's
we
on
wanna
your
include
case.
the off at closing, on at dusk kind of thing, or?
No, that's standard though, yeah.
Okay, Mall. All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All
All right, good luck,
Gentlemen.
guys. Hope it works
right.
out.
We'll be watching.
When this gets done, come over and visit.
I think the Rotary Club's
Okay,
gonna go
well,
try that room
I'll
out.
be there tomorrow morning at 8:30 for the Rotary meeting.
The Red House will be there. Red House will be there tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You could use it as a law office.
All right, so can I have a motion to adjourn?
Please.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second. I forget the
All in
name of
favor?
the
Aye.
Good night, Danvers.